It's a lazy afternoon in a busy beer garden. Families enjoying themselves, oblivious to the horror that's about to strike. And just like that, 5 lives gone, including 2 young children. It's the kind of tragedy that never leaves you, because it could have been any of us.
A teddy bear for 2 children lost in the cruelest of ways.
Everyone's just here for a good time, and yeah, for something like that to happen is quite sad.
Oh, it's so tragic, like kids.
Many people will now be questioning the fragility of life and how it can be over so simply.
Daylesford, an hour and a half from Melbourne, packed with holidaymakers for the Cup Day weekend. 2 families among them doing what so many do on a Sunday afternoon, only they never made it home. Locals, tourists and strangers heartbroken.
It's just awful.
It's kind of too close to home, really.
This is the last thing Rebecca and Fab thought they'd witness on their wedding anniversary.
I had to put flowers down because it was just, you have to leave something.
We just had a Hepburn and we were just coming through, and then obviously it was blocked up. We had to work our way around, but we knew it was something bad.
We're really sorry for the families and the first responder, everybody who would have been here to witness the whole thing. It's such a tragedy.
24 hours after the carnage, hundreds turning out to pay their respects. First responders have told me this was one of the most confronting scenes they have ever attended. The families were sitting on these picnic tables when they were thrown at least 20 metres onto the road. The white BMW driven by a 66-year-old man barreled down a hill and through the beer garden, which didn't have a barrier. 3 adults and 2 children died, being a dad and his 11-year-old boy, and a 9-year-old girl, her mum and her mum's partner. Another 6, including an 11-month-old baby and the driver, are in hospital.
It's just so sad for those families who just went away for the weekend for Cup Day. And they're not going home.
Amid the horror, stories of mateship, off-duty nurses and locals racing to help.
It's a small token of, to show that they're not alone.
Sister Louise Hall travelled to Daylesford to show her support.
It's times like this when human nature shows its best side, and the compassion and the community comes together.
Many people in the proximity who selflessly came out and aided those who were dying, aided those who needed first aid, just disregarded their own safety.
Victoria Police Chief Commissioner Shane Patton.
We'll be doing everything we can because you just can't measure the impact this will have on not just police, but all of the other emergency responders and all those members of the public who are there. We'll be wrapping those supports around them.
Police say the driver wasn't drug or alcohol affected. They're yet to determine why he veered off the road, including whether he may have suffered a medical episode.
This is one bad memory that live forever in their hearts.
And we've now confirmed the names of 3 of those victims: Pratibha Sharma, her husband Jatin, and Pratibha's 9-year-old daughter Anvi from Point Cook in Melbourne's west. Pratibha was a volunteer with Australian Sikh Support, and I spoke to Jaljit Bakshi from the organisation a short time ago. Daljit, we are so sorry for your loss. Can I ask, how did you find out the news?
It's shared by my Melbourne colleagues from there, and it was on social media. I was working and suddenly got this news on Facebook. Then we all got in contact. It's really tragic and shocking for all of us.
We know their next of kin has now been identified, but it's such a shock and a loss to your close-knit community. What can you tell me about the family, and particularly Pratibha, who was very committed to volunteering within the community?
Yeah, look, Pratibha, she was a lovely soul, always helpful out in the community. And during COVID, she initiated volunteering with us, delivering the food, campers, groceries when everyone was at home, securing their lives. She was out helping the people who were in need, packing the groceries. And along with that, she helped the students with any of their immigration issues. So she was tirelessly working in her car, delivering the food parcels, other required items across Point Cook area.
And no one was more important in this world to her than her 9-year-old daughter, Anvi, her only child.
Yeah, she was so lovely, the cute little soul, and Pratibha, along with Avni and Jatin, they, along with their whole family, they volunteered, and that was so nice of her. Like with the little cute daughter, she was also helping her mom and dad in this voluntary efforts for the community. It was so lovely, and sometimes I feel like it's so tragic. Like God always get the right people who are really good people so early to him. It's really sad.
I mean, how do you process something like this, Daljit? They were in Daylesford on a day trip. They were having a great time. You never expect something like this to ever happen.
That makes things more tragic and shocking, because someone who is out there to have some beautiful moment and memories for their whole life, and they ultimately get like they are no more in this world, and their memories, but their memories will be forever for the work they have done for the community. That will remain forever. That will not die, and so their memories, it will remain in her heart, in her family, friends, and whom they have supported. We pray to the God to have good on their soul, and they rest in peace.
They sound like such a beautiful family who've done so much good in this world. Daljit, we are so sorry and send our condolences to you, to their families and the whole Sikh community. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and thanks for joining in the prayers, and we hope the family members, they have some heart to this tragic news. It's really shocking.
A family that gave so much back. The community of Daylesford has just held a vigil, a chance for locals to grieve together and pay their respects. Mayor Brian Hood is there and he joins me now. Brian, we know so many people are hurting. What are some of the sentiments being shared there tonight?
Hi Ali, the main sentiment is community spirit, people coming together and supporting each other and thanking those who quite selflessly helped on the spur of the moment and did what they could. And it was an opportunity tonight also to thank the emergency services, the police, the AMBOs, the SES, the CFA, who did a wonderful job, again, supporting our community.
Brian, this is a town of 3,000, very close-knit. What's this done to everyone?
Well, quite frankly, it's put them into a state of shock. The size and scale of this event is just enormous. It's unprecedented in these parts of Victoria. And I think people are fairly numb. They're incredibly upset. And they really feel for these victims of what is just a horrible accident.
I mean, for this to happen right in the middle of town, you've got families and friends spending time together. It does remind you how fragile and how fleeting life can be.
Absolutely. I made that comment a few moments ago that things can turn so quickly, so sharply. Life is fragile. These people were simply enjoying a wonderful sunny afternoon on a grassy, lawned outdoor eating area that's very popular. And as you rightly say, it's right smack bang in the middle of town, not the sort of place where you would expecting any sort of incident like this.
We've heard stories about how locals leapt into action helping with first aid in any way they could. What are some of the stories you've heard, and does anything about that surprise you?
It certainly doesn't surprise me. We have a strong community right across Hepburnshire, from east to west, and including in Daylesford. People do support each other. Unfortunately, we get a little bit of experience with bushfires and floods and severe storms, and people band together and support each other. And apparently that happened last night. People immediately leapt into action. doing what they could before the emergency services arrived. And then, of course, they did a wonderful job supporting the community again too.
Hard to erase some of the things that some of those in your community would have seen, but you must be proud of them.
Very proud, very proud. It was a remarkable reaction. It would have been a terribly confronting sight. Injuries were severe, I understand. So people showed a lot of bravery, a lot of courage in helping fellow humans.
And is it tough, Brian, when, as we just heard, we heard about Pratibha, her daughter Anvi and her husband Jatin, who were three of those victims, beautiful people who gave back to their communities in Melbourne. It's tough when you put a face to this tragedy.
Oh, absolutely. That has a profound impact. When you hear about a wonderful family like that, when you see a photo of them, it just humanises the whole thing. And when you see the accident site and debris strewn across the lawn and the road, it's very confronting for most of us. Yes, it certainly brings home just how fragile things are and how close we need to hold our near and dear ones.
Yep, just makes you want to run home and hug your family. And Brian, I know you've got a huge and heartbreaking task ahead. Our thoughts are with all of you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ali. Thank you.